Congressman Peter King is with us at 727 on the Joe Piscopo Show with Frankie Five Boroughs, Morano, and Al Gattulo. And we wanted to bring an Irish guy onto the show, so Congressman King kind enough to join us. Not enough Italians on this show, Congressman King, huh?
I tell you guys outnumber us. You really do. And I did it the other night with Charles Palminteri. Now I got Piscopo today.
Yeah.
I tell you, there's no end to it.
Congressman, let me share these airwaves to thank you for the fine service you do as a public servant. You're one of the most humblest. You are one of the most humblest people I know. You are so concerned with what's going on in your community. You have fought. It started single-handedly, but you've joined with the president to fight MS-13, who comes over from the southern border of the United States. So thanks for all you're doing, man. We get so frustrated. We try to break down the news of the day, Peter, on the show, and then the shutdown. And I know you're having a bipartisan discussion down there to try to shut this down. And of course, it's good. How can you grab the Democrats' attention? How can we settle this whole thing, sir?
Yeah, listen. First of all, thanks for all that, Sean. Also, I want to say I do have one criticism to make of President Trump. He had that big fast food feast at the White House last night for Clemson. Nowhere was there any White Castle cheeseburgers. Now, I grew up in Queens, and that White Castle place on Queens Boulevard and 43rd Street.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's how could a New Yorker like President Trump not have White Castle cheeseburgers? He's all that Southern stuff and all that. But anyway,
duly noted, sir. Okay.
Very serious. On the government shutdown, I was opposed to the idea of a government shutdown in the first place. Having said that, That's where we are. And it's important for both sides to negotiate. The president, say what you will, but his critics, what they say, the fact is he has moved. He's willing to negotiate. The Democrats refuse to negotiate. They voted for the wall so many times in the past, and this should not be a hard deal to make. Give President Trump a wall or a barrier. Doesn't have to be $5 billion. Make it $3 billion, $4 billion, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They can get DACA. They can get TPS. This is all. If the Democrats really cared about the Dreamers, then this is their chance to get it. If they believe in border security, this is their chance to put up or shut up. It's there for everyone. And I just think it's wrong that both sides dig in. On our side, we have some guys in the Freedom Caucus who don't want to make any concessions at all. On the Democratic side, they don't even want to be seen talking to President Trump. I mean, this is absurd. This is the United States, and there are good people out there, many, many good people. In fact, probably almost all of them are good people who are not getting a paycheck. And these aren't millionaires. These are people very often they live from paycheck to paycheck. They got to make the mortgage payments. They they have debts they have to pay, and they don't have the luxury of just putting it off. So, and also the civilians who do business with the federal government. I was talking to two people at the airport yesterday.
Yeah,
their business, they have a number of contracts, and they're not going to get paid, and they can't necessarily make that up to their workers.
You know what? So locally, you're hearing that this shutdown does have an impact financially in your district, sir.
It does have an impact in the district, and overall, I'm sure the economy is going to survive. There's going to be many, many good, innocent people hurt by us.
Yeah, is there something wrong with a system where the Coast Guard doesn't get paid, but Adam Schiff does, right, Congressman King?
There you go.
Man, oh, man. Hey, Congressman, yes, please.
That's the other thing. I mean, we are, the people not getting paid here are Border Patrol, ICE, Coast Guard. I mean, people out on the front lines in the war against illegal immigration and against MS-13.
Yeah, now, and you were one of 12 House Republicans to vote with the Democrats to end the standoff. And Lindsey Graham proposed to reopen the government for 3 weeks. You go along with that, yes?
No, I do. And again, I voted for some of those measures as much as time to negotiate. On the other hand, once Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi just started bringing out a series of these bills, no, they weren't going to pass, then I voted no to show I'm not going to play their game. But I did send a strong signal that it is important that we find a way to reopen the government and also find a way for the Democrats to negotiate honestly, yes.
And then what happened, Peter, the last 2 years when we had the House, the Republicans had the House and the House of Representatives and the Senate and the White House, why couldn't we have gotten some kind of immigration reform then, number one? And number two, why didn't Mitch McConnell just go for the nuclear option a couple weeks ago?
That he probably should have. But here's the deal, though. At that time, the president did tell him that he was willing to accept the $1.6 billion, and then which wasn't even going to be for the wall. It was going to be for general security, and they were going to carry this fight out in February or March. And then the president sort of changed sides on that. Now, listen, looking back on it as a Monday morning quarterback, one of the big mistakes we made was spending 6 months trying to repeal Obamacare, which we weren't able to do. That's if we had worked in an infrastructure, immigration reform, and when I say reform, it means everything, not just taking care of the Dreamers and TPS, but also getting stronger border security. If we had done that in the first 6 months, it would have been a lot easier than now. The Democrats, they control the House right now.
Yeah, and Congressman, we appreciate it. I don't want to lay into this too much, this border thing, but to give us a second, if you would, Congressman King, what you saw personally regarding MS-13 coming into your community.
Yeah, MS-13, these were actually a good number of them were young people who came across the border illegally. And once they were across the border, they had to be sent to resettlement. They found homes for them. It turned out that a number of the families who took these kids in were MS-13 families, either MS-13 supporters or they had family members back in El Salvador who would have been killed if they didn't take these kids in. These kids went into the schools, they infiltrated, they recruited, and in the last series of indictments, murder indictments for MS-13, 7 of the 11 who were indicted were young people who came across the border 4 years ago as unaccompanied minors. That's just one glaring example, a flagrant example of how the border security is so important and how it has direct impact. In my district, there were 25 people killed in an 18-month period. Now, you give President Trump credit. Once he got involved, working with the Suffolk County Police, the Suffolk County DA, and ICE does a phenomenal job. The FBI, they come in. There has been, as far as I know, in Suffolk County, no murders in the last 2 years since President Trump got involved in this. And again, I want to make it clear, this is across the board. The police commissioner, the DA, the ICE, FBI. But once the federal force went in of increasing the number of ICE agents, putting more federal technology to the use of the Suffolk County Police. But the threat is still there. Just the other day, 3 MS-13 guys tried to stab someone in Huntington outside a fast food place. And they were in the country illegally. They were on the MS-13 list. They couldn't be deported because of different court decisions. And they attacked 2 innocent kids and stabbed one of them in the back.
Yeah, and a lot of these kids are in stressed areas. They're coming from lower income homes. Is that right, Congressman King?
Oh, in El Salvador, you have a situation. They come across the border. Not only they come from poor areas, they have almost no education. So you may have a situation where a kid comes across the border. He's 13, 14 years old. First of all, he can't speak English. Secondly, he has maybe a second or third grade education. So you have a 13-year-old kid in the third grade. You have a 19-year-old kid in the 8th grade. I mean, it's just it's so bad. And the people who get hurt the most are the people living in the areas in Suffolk County, for instance, where they have a lower tax base anyway. It's harder to afford the schools.
That's right.
And on top of that, now they have all these kids being put in there. Wow. They have no say in it, and they have to educate them. They don't speak English. They are way behind in education. No one knows exactly what the true health condition is. And there's a burden that's on hardworking people trying to make their communities work. So, no, it's bad. It's bad news. And so a lot of these people who say it's immoral to have a wall, to me, it's more immoral to have people stabbed and slaughtered in Suffolk County and Nassau County and around the country by MS-13, by people who snuck across the border.
Yeah, you're a fighter, Congressman King, and we appreciate that very, very much. Before we let you go, your analysis of Secretary of State Mike Pompeo's visit to the Middle East, please.
Mike Pompeo is great. Mike Pompeo is doing the best he can. I think the president was too quick to say he's going to pull troops out of Syria. I think Mike Pompeo had to sort of put that back together and make it clear that Iran is our common enemy. We can't do anything that gives Iran a more powerful position.
Yes,
Mike Pompeo is the best. He's a West Point graduate, tank commander, number one in his class. Great guy.
And he's Italian too. Yeah,
Well, I sort of left that out, but you're right. I have to admit that. You're right. You got that. You got me there.
No, listen, my kids are half Irish, Congressman. So you're making us proud, man. Let me tell you something, Congressman King.
No, you have so many kids up and down the Jersey Turnpike. God knows what they all are.
Ethnicity everywhere. You're right, Congressman. We love you. Thanks for the fight. Keep fighting, Congressman King. We got your back, man. Appreciate it very much, sir. Thank you, Peter King, right there, representing the 2nd District on Long Island. I asked for that, I guess. 737, Joe on the radio. He's not wrong.